Having met up with one of the visiting Austrian pilots, Klaus, the previous day, which by the time they arrived from Edinburgh and Glasgow, it was actually too windy for flying, but we did a lot of high wind, ground demo stuff, safety training, all that sort of stuff. It's been a lot more flyable on this day, but wasn't really out there until mid-afternoon, so it was starting to get a bit top end, but still worthwhile a journey. Anyway, part of the reason for this video is it will let pilots see the main issues with very public sites, and particularly public sites of this nature. One of the big problems which you'll see with most folks when they're flying in high wind situations is because they can't handle the conditions at the top, they'll be launching down from the beach. Now clearly, as we can see on this little clip here, you've got the concrete blocks for the tank tracks, but more relevantly you've also got an awful lot of families out. This is on 2nd of January. So a lot of folks are on holidays, and despite it being windy and a bit chilly, probably 2 or 3 families per minute at times are arriving to go along. So this chap with his kids has been taking photographs, so we've stopped and let him get the picture close up. We've been taking photographs of the kids and the glider in the background. So we do an awful lot of PR stuff, making sure that everybody's happy and actually welcomes us to fly sites like this. The main thing, as I started saying there, is you do not want pilots setting up down on the beach with no idea where people are on the path. You've got prams, you've got babies in carry-alls, backpacks and things, kids, dog walkers, so it's very much a case of your airspace checks is the ground. It's looking for other people. We choose to do this, other people do not choose to be inconvenienced. And as you can probably tell, despite the water looking relatively smooth, that's a lot of height for a small beach. So particularly on some of the earlier flights, it's probably getting as much as 80 feet above the water and probably 150 feet out from the ridge. So you need excellent top end wind speed ground controls. So for instance here with the camera, you don't get anything like the same peripheral vision you will as the pilot. So while it might look like I'm checking the wing, I'm actually looking to where you can see people walking along the ridges. Now often all you can see is the top of the heads. So you're looking for the pattern. If they're walking along there and you know the shape of the various paths in the rough grass, you can predict where they're likely to go. If they're a dog walker, they're more likely to cut up one of the side paths. But most of the people there are with families, and they're much more likely to be walking out to the point. So you're constantly looking around to check for your situational awareness. You're looking for the folks there, for instance the dog coming down. You could then have the master comes down. You're looking for the folks that might be taking a seat up near the blocks. So you're looking around and checking. The one thing you're not really having to do is check the wing. All the information is coming down via the harness, with a small amount of additional information helping from the brakes, but the vast majority of the information is from the harness. So here, because I've been keeping a good eye on the path, I know that the path up to the right beat, to the centre concrete blocks, is relatively clear. So I'm keeping the wing rolled to my right as I go up until I'm high enough up so in my peripheral vision I can check and see where I am. Now the chap's about to capture his dog, put it on the lead. It's also somebody that I've met a few times there. So clearly if it's somebody that you know very slightly, just from occasional hi, they know you. If it was a family and kids, you want to be escaping to the downwind side. So you're constantly looking at, do I need to escape to the downwind side so you're clear of everybody. So for instance here I'll flick round, which increases the airspeed. And then I can just sit down, again using peripheral vision, although it looks like I'm looking at the wing. Apart from letting Klaus have a look on the camera, In fact, there's no brakes added, it's all harness control. What I'm actually doing is I'm using my peripheral vision as a check to the left and right to see exactly where people are, seeing if they're stopping or if they're walking. So there, I've given myself a bit more clearance, letting the wing roll right there. Took me across to the right bead side, then taking off and cutting round back into the lift area. Now, if I remember correctly, in a minute or two the wind speed does pick up, so that above the ridge the ground speed is just risking or actually going very slightly negative. Second to think of that, I'll cut over the back so I'm clear of everyone. And then using the safety procedures, click, apply the risers, wait. As I touch down, the glider's already depowered, and then just use the safety risers. Normally I'd actually use the safety risers to bring me back on my feet, but because the transition, the change in slope, is so sharp where those blocks are, it is actually a fairly dead area. Compared to the rest of the windy ridge top, there's a lot less wind there. So with 20 plus knot wind at wing height at the ridge, down here you're probably looking at 12 knots maybe maximum. Safety risers are locked in as I gather up. You probably get the slight snaky horseshoe effect if it catches a wee bit of the wind. There it goes. You don't fight it. Just let it drop down and gather round. So on any of these public sites particularly, and there's a lot of the sites that ESP Club flies, very public, get nice weather days, you're going to get a lot of families. The main task the pilots have to constantly stay on top of is situational awareness of members of the public, and they must be ready at any moment in time to escape over the back into the dead zones and where they're clear of the paths. We've been flying here for the best part of 2 decades with no incidents, and the only way you maintain records like that is by constantly staying ahead of the game. Training, human performance limitations, and physical aspects of physics of wing flight.